We welcome you to the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where we are just moments away from filling the final 11 starting positions for the 89th running of the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
John Cock, Mears makes a try. John Cock wins it.
If there was one race you should win in your life as an American race car driver, it would have to be
the Indy 500.
There he is. A.J. Foyt will win the Indianapolis 500.
33 drivers, one winner.
Oh, yeah. If you ever see racing better than that, I'd certainly like to know where it's going to be.
My life has never been the same since I won the Indianapolis 500.
Big touch. Little Al into the wall. Fittipaldi continues on. Goodyear makes a move. Little Al wins.
You just don't know what Indy means.
The biggest thrill is to be called the Indy 500 champion.
Winning Indy once, that was fantastic.
He's done it. Cancer Nevis goes for the fence again.
Winning Indy back-to-back, that was unbelievable.
Winning the Indianapolis 500
Buddy Rice has won.
is a fulfillment of a dream.
But Buddy Rice will not defend his Indy 500 title. His injury suffered in last week's practice crash that prevented doctors from clearing him to drive. Taking his seat, 1999 Indy winner Kenny Brack, the man Rice replaced after Kenny sustained critical injuries in this horrifying crash in October of 2003. Brack makes his return to open wheel racing today as qualifying takes place for the 11 remaining positions in this year's 89th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Green flag is out. Release the hound.
Buddy Rice wins the Indianapolis 500.
2005 IndyCar Series is on.
It is the most hallowed ground in all of motorsports, and today the Indianapolis Motor Speedway plays host to Day 3 of Indy Time Trials. Yes, today we will chronicle the long-awaited comeback of a champion. 19 months ago, this Indy 500 winner survived a horrifying accident in Texas, and today for the first time he returns to the track, albeit as a substitute for the driver who originally replaced him after his injury. Last year's winner here, Buddy Rice. Take a look at our qualifying summary thus far. 22 spots are filled, 11 remain to be filled here today. The pole sitter, first ever pole for Tony Kanaan, and of course Michael Andretti as an owner. Danica Patrick, fastest woman to qualify, best starting spot inside of row 2. There's the engine breakdown, and yes, 2005 will mark the 56th year the winner of the Indy 500 will carry the Firestone emblem. Couldn't ask for a more perfect day here. Chamber of Commerce weather in Indianapolis, Indiana. Temperature 70 degrees, wind speed negligible, 5 miles an hour out of the northeast. Well, qualifying here at Indianapolis puts a premium on skill, concentration, and most importantly, courage. Now let's head down to the north end of pit road where President and Chief Operating Officer of the Indy Racing League, Brian Barnhart, is about to issue his final instructions to our first qualifier, rookie Ryan Briscoe.
Okay, Ryan, got a fresh start today here. Obviously, we've had a good week of practice. You've gotten back in and got your feet wet again, so let's make the best of today. Got a good racetrack out there. A little warmer than this morning session, a little breezier, so check your flags as well. Same procedures right up on the racetrack. They'll want you to start the run. It'll be third time by, be your first attempt of the day. 4 good ones, runs her to completion. Go get me 4 good ones. You got him whenever you're ready.
Those are the final words being given to rookie Ryan Briscoe in the Target Ganassi machine. He'll be the first car to attempt to fill the 11 remaining positions. Welcome you to Day 3 of Indy Time Trials, along with 2000 Indy pole sitter and 4-time front row starter Greg Ray. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. And Greg, there are as many different agendas on the track today as there are drivers here in the garage area. But the one we'll be following very closely is the remarkable efforts of Kenny Brack. I mean, how special is it for Kenny? How remarkable is it to come back from that frightening crash?
Well, I think it's remarkable as a driver, you know, not just as a driver, but as a human. You know, what he went through at his Texas crash. His last race was really just a unfathomable event. It was just an incredible crash. I know he's been training hard. He practiced last year at Richmond. He was just as fast, but from a fitness standpoint, he really wasn't up to to racing, and then to see him come out here and fill in for Buddy Rice, which is injured. It's kind of poetic. It's kind of ironic. But this morning, I can't tell you my excitement level seeing him go out there, hearing him on the radio. He's very, very confident. He's very, very fast, and I think his pole speed could be faster than Tony Kanon's. It's going to be very exciting to watch.
Well, why is he in the car? We may to show you that it was 10 days ago, back on May the 11th, that last year's winner, Buddy Rice, had a hard impact with the turn 2 wall, registering over 120 G's in the cockpit of the car. Rice spent the night in Methodist Hospital, and during evaluations a week later by Dr. Henry Bach and Terry Trammell, it was diagnosed that he had ligamentous injuries in his neck. Although he steps out of the car, looks fine here, torn ligaments preclude him from racing today. Well, the guy in the seat, Kenny Brack, anxiously waiting down on pit road near Vince Welch.
He certainly is. He's just getting a well wish from Johnny Rutherford. Kenny, what's been the most challenging aspect of returning to the cockpit for the first time in a year and a half?
Getting ready for this whole thing has been the most challenging thing, because it's taken me a year and a half to do all the rehab and stuff, but we're back, and I thank God and Team Ray Letterman for it.
Physically, you talked about how you're better physically. Mentally, did it take a while to get comfortable in the car again?
No, nothing. It's been, but you know, I still got to learn about running in traffic and all that stuff a little bit, and get used to all the new systems in the car. It's a lot different to when I used to run a year and a half ago, but driving-wise, that's coming back to me pretty good.
What are your expectations in this qualifying run?
We're going to go as fast as the car goes. It's a good car, and I'm going to do our best. I'm going to do my best, and the team's done their best, and hopefully it's a good run.
It's been a very popular decision having Kenny Brack back at the racetrack. There have been a lot of fans and a lot of drivers and team members come over to wish him well. Scott Rimke of Ray Hall Letterman told me they've set the car up a little bit conservatively. They're not going to put it on the edge for Kenny during this qualifying run. Dr. Jerry Punch?
Thank you very much, Vince. Kenny Brack out this morning at over 228 miles an hour. We're watching now impressive Australian rookie Ryan Briscoe, the 23 years of age, driving for Chip Ganassi, the Target Ganassi machine. His first lap, 224.415 on the clocks. Briscoe's quickest lap in practice this morning, they had a 1-hour session, was 224.906. But there was some toes involved, some drafting out there, which may have escalated that speed slightly. Not a bad first lap here for the first guy to go out.
Absolutely. You know, Ryan last week ran a 225.6 before he had a little incident and had a wreck down there in turn 1 and turn 2. The conditions today are a little better. There's very, very little wind. The track temperature is over 100 degrees. It's low ambient, and it's just great conditions. It's very dry air. So they've made that car a little more conservative. They've probably taken some steps to put a little more downforce in it and just get them solidly in the field.
Lap 2, 224.381 miles per hour. Now, last week, Ryan Briscoe went out and was very quick in practice. But, Jamie, when he went out to qualify, had they made some changes with the car?
Exactly, Dr. Punch. I was just speaking to him walking through Gasoline Alley coming out here. He said last week, after practice, they went out before qualifying. They made some last-minute changes. Too loose. Obviously, you saw what happened and put him out for the day. He's back qualifying today, and it's quite interesting. I asked Ryan what the setup is. He said, we're actually running part race setup, not full qualifying setup, in order to make me feel a little bit more comfortable in the car. This is his first time here at Indy, so we'll see how he does, guys.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Ryan Briscoe, 224.213. Very consistent laps. Again, if you're not familiar with qualifying at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you must run 4 consecutive laps, and your qualifying speed is the average of those 4 laps. Not the fastest of the 4, but the average, so you have to be very, very consistent here when you go out to run.
He looks very smooth and very comfortable out there, and I think you're right. The first 3 laps are all within 0.03 of a second. He's a very confident driver, and I'm sure he's going to get over his last week mishap. Looks like he's comfortably in the show now.
Checkered flag for Ryan Briscoe. 4-lap average 224.080. He becomes the 23rd car to qualify for the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500. We'll be here all afternoon on our Disney family of channels, and we'll have qualifying coverage for you right now here for an hour, and then we'll come back on ESPN at 5 o'clock Eastern time, and then back on ESPN2 for the final dramatic hour of day 3 of Indy time trials. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock ESPN and ESPN2 for Indy 500 time trial. When we return, we'll hear the comments of Michael Andretti, who wore a wireless mic on pole day last Sunday.
Penske was really smiling.
And we'll have more on this champion's remarkable comeback. Kenny Brack back on the track. Back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Indy time trials, day 3 continuing on the racetrack. French-Canadian Patrick Carpentier driving the Red Bull Cheever machine. Carpentier, 33 years of age. He was bumped from the field last Sunday on pole day when his average for 4 laps was just over 219.9 miles per hour. This morning in practice, Carpentier really had turned it up for the Red Bull Cheever guys, 222.781. So Max Jones and company had really dialed him in and had gained some speed very close to the wall there, Greg Ray.
Yeah, sounds like he's out of the motor there. Looks like he's going to wave that off.
Well, he got up across the racetrack. The car's sliding way up. I mean, it looked like he almost brushed you. There's Eddie Cheever and Max Jones, car owner, as they're talking to each other at the north end of pit road. But his first lap had been 222.346, so he was some 2 miles an hour faster, almost 2.5 miles per hour faster than he was on pole day. Let's see if we can see what happened a moment ago here on lap 2 of Carpentier's qualifying run. Here we go. He did white wall it. He took the Firestone emblems off the right side there, so he'll come back in and have it checked out. Meanwhile, at the other end of pit road, as Eddie Cheever and Max Jones head down, we'll check in where Vince is standing by with our first qualifier of the afternoon.
Ryan Briscoe just looked at that highlight of Patrick Carpentier and said, "Woo, hey, you had an eventful run." Not quite that eventful, though.
Yeah, not that eventful, but it looks like he suffered from the warmer weather too. I mean, from practice this morning, I think we've picked up a bit more push. And that qualifier run, it wasn't the easiest in the world, even if we were going out quite conservatively with the setup. But, you know, we got through it. It's great to have qualified now, and, you know, I'm in the race, so that's the important thing.
It's been an eventful couple of weeks for you to begin with. Take us back last week and the accident and some of the things that you've had to deal with mentally to get back to this point to qualify for the race.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to kick off the month, you know, everything was running so smoothly for us, and we've always had really good speed. The car's been fantastic, and you know, I just had so much confidence going into pole day, and we just went a bit too far towards the limit and over it in qualifying, and you know, it was going to be a quick qualify run on pole day, but unfortunately I lost the rear and changed the strategy a bit for this qualify run. You know, the best we could do is 23rd. It's probably going to be tough to be quicker than Brack. He's certainly got some speed under him, but the important thing is to be in the race, and you know, we've already done a lot of race setup work, and the car's been going pretty well, so just looking forward to Sunday now.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
Let's go to Jamie Little.
Well, she's definitely the woman of the month of May. Danica Patrick is here, and it's her day off, so you finally get to see her out of a driving suit. Danica, what are you doing out here? You supporting your teammates?
Yes, you know, with Kenny back and not being in the car for so long, I'm here to just root him on and make sure he gets in the show. The higher his average is around the track for his qualifying, the higher we get to start as a team towards the pit lane. So I'm here to hope he goes like 235 miles an hour.
How about Kenny Brack getting back in the car? What has that been like for you?
You know, he's extremely disappointed, but I had to think about this kind of thing after Homestead and how they didn't want me to get in the car for a certain amount of time, and I'm just lucky I had the 2 weeks in between. But when it comes to, you know, life and death kind of things, if he were to go out and crash the same way again, he might not come out of this one, and then he'll never be back, but now he'll be back at the next event. So, you know, I guess you have to try and put the most positive twist you can on it.
And Kenny's a pretty nice guy, so he's not a bad replacement.
That's right. He's an interesting fella. He's an interesting Swede, but he's good, and he races hard, no doubt about it.
Now, you've been on a media tour pretty much the whole month. Tomorrow, I understand you're going to New York, ESPN, so tell us about that.
We're at the ESPN zone. We're doing things like I think we're basing there. I don't know the exact details. We're doing like cold pizza. We're doing the Letterman show that night. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty full day, and there's a bunch of stuff in between. And the media window, I'm sure, for 90 minutes will be nothing but, you know, a loss of voice again for me.
Well, best of luck to you. I know you've been so busy, but you've been having a little bit of fun mixed in there. Thanks for your time.
No, it's been really nice.
Good. Danica Patrick starting fourth. She is the woman of the hour. Dr. Punch?
Danica Patrick, a 5'2", 100-pound bundle of confidence, and she's got the face of a prom queen and the handshake of a steel worker. She is a serious contender here for next Sunday's Indy 500. And there's a look at the right rear where there was contact for Patrick Carpentier with the turn 2 wall. White walling it over there. They'll take a look at the car. We'll update you on the damage possibilities there after that great first lap at over 222 miles an hour. Here's Marty Roth going out to become the third car on the track to become our second qualifier.
He ran speeds this morning at 222, which was 2 miles an hour faster than he'd ran all month long. So, you know, Marty is new to this track and new to IndyCar racing. So, you know, he's really just building his confidence. And this morning showed that, you know, he's trying to get the speed together when it really counts.
Marty Roth, and by the way, the first time by for Roth, 220.261, which is certainly faster, as you heard Greg Ray a moment ago mention. The plus on the bottom of your screen, that's how much slower he is in terms of time, plus 1.083 seconds. That's over the 23rd qualifier right now, Ryan Briscoe.
He turned 222 miles an hour this morning, like I said, and it is a little bit warmer. That track temperature has come up, and you heard, you know, Patrick Carpentier talk about the difference in the track, and also Ryan Briscoe talk about the difference in the track just with the surface temperature, the track temperature coming up. And what happens is when it's cooler in the morning, that air near the asphalt, you know, makes more downforce. As that temperature comes up on the racetrack, that air is warmer. It's not as thick. It doesn't make as much downforce, and it's sometimes you really chase the car from morning to afternoon, and if it's loose in the morning, it's going to be just right in the afternoon.
Lap 2 a little bit slower, 2:19.624. He's on his third of 4 consecutive laps. So Marty Roth out of Toronto, Canada, spent quite a few years in Indy Lights competition and then took 10 years off. Got out of racing in 1991 to operate the family land development business in Canada, where he was ultra successful. Decided to come back in 2002 and drive in the Menards Infinity Pro Series, where he basically honed his skills until last year, coming back and realizing a dream by qualifying for his very first Indianapolis 500 a year ago. Lap 3 for Marty Roth, 218.610 miles per hour. The speed's getting a little bit slower each time by.
Yeah, you know, they all the drivers are taking the green flag on the third time by. They did that last weekend because the temperatures were cooler. They're making all the drivers stay consistent, so it is a little bit warmer, and I think it's a trend. All the laps seem to be slowing down, and he's definitely getting down into a range where that's he's going to really have to pick it up here, or maybe try again later.
Paul Datlovich out of PDM helping set the car up. It's a joint entry with PDM and Roth Racing, and the 4-lap average for Marty Roth, 219.497, and he will qualify. He becomes the 24th car to qualify, albeit right now the slowest car in the field. Coming up, the return of the 1999 Indy 500 winner, Kenny Brack. Remarkable story in his laps in just a moment.
Welcome back to time trials at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indianapolis 500. Patrick Carpentier is a veteran racer, but a rookie to Indianapolis, and qualifying has been difficult. You just went out for an attempt and brushed the wall. What was the problem?
Yeah, the car just pushed too much. We're trying to be flat out all around the track. That's the only way you can put the time in, and for some reason this morning was okay, and now temperature changed a little bit, and the car was pushing way too much and holding it flat on the wall. So
when you graze the wall, as we look at it on replay, it doesn't look like you hit that hard, but from a driver's perspective in the cockpit, is that a big jar? Do you feel it drastically?
Oh yeah, it moves you inside the cockpit. But it's not that hard. You know, I've hit it harder than that before, but what you see outside looks like nothing, but inside you feel it's like, oh, okay, better come in. So that was it.
We don't want to see you doing that again. Get this thing in the field today.
Man, we just got to qualify it. Hopefully we get it and go start the race.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go upstairs.
All right, Vince, we might mention Jacques Lazier was on the racetrack and he waved it off, so we're going to check in. Next one to attempt to qualify, that'll be Kenny Brack. Let's head down and listen in as Brian Barnhart gives these instructions to a driver who's not been in competition now for 19 months, going back to October of 2003. Here's the president of the IRL.
Kenny, welcome back.
Thank you.
Sorry it's under these circumstances, but I'm sure you'll represent Ray Hall Letterman and the Speedway well, filling in for our defending champion. It's always nice to have a former winner here, and it's certainly great to welcome you back to the family. When you pull out of here, go right up on the racetrack going into turn 1. Start working your way up to speed, a little warmer than this morning. Check the flags, the wind's up a little bit more than this morning as well. Guys will be at the north end. If they want you to start the run, green flag, third time by. No flag or yellow flags, a non-attempt, you come back. green flag starts your first attempt on this. You get 3 attempts on it today if necessary, even if you run to completion. Okay? Go out there and give me 4 good ones like you did this morning and welcome home.
Ready when you are.
How appropriate, he would say, welcome home, because that's exactly what the fans and other drivers and the mechanics in the garage area. Kenny Brack, very, very popular driver out of Arvika, Sweden. Former series champion, IRL IndyCar Series champion in 1998. He won the Indianapolis 500 in 1999. And again, he's replacing Buddy Rice, who had the torn ligaments, partially torn ligaments in his neck following an incident in turn 2 10 days ago. If you want to know what he's coming back from, we're going to show you. We turn back the clock to October 12, 2003, Texas Motor Speedway. This horrifying crash, Breck's car airborne. The front is sheared away. The back is sheared away. Side pods are gone. He's riding in a capsule, the tub, all that's keeping Kenny Brack safe. The IRL IndyCar Series certainly owes a lot to the safety ramifications here. His injuries were a concussion, a fractured right femur, fractures of his low back, lumbar 2, 3, and 4. His sternum was broken. His ribs were broken. Both ankles were broken, with the right one almost completely crushed. He underwent eight, I said, operations to put him back together. And 2 months later, he was still in the hospital when 2 floors below him, his young daughter, who they named Karma, was born. He was unable to get out of the bed because of all the surgical procedures he had undergone. So they videotaped his daughter's birth to show him downstairs 2 floors below. He has been through so much, folks, and for him to come back today, it is certainly an emotional day for this Kenny Brack family.
You know, it really is. It's amazing. As a race car driver, it seems like, you know, they always talk about it being a team sport, but all these other drivers are always your competitors, and sometimes it's very difficult to have close friends or emotions for other drivers. But Kenny Brack is absolutely one of the good guys. He's a great friend. He's a great driver. And I have to tell you, my emotions today and my nerves seeing him in the car are it's really, really strange. And I can't tell you how much I was jumping up and down when I saw him do those 228 miles an hour laps this morning. It was very, very exciting, and it's just great to see him come back and be in a car and be fast here.
When you ask Kenny Brack about what this means, he says, you know, a Hollywood film producer, not even Walt Disney, could arguably have scripted such a heartwarming story. Me being able to come back and sub for the driver who took my place and was able to help Ray Hall Letterman. The green flag waves for the first time in 19 months on the 39-year-old former series champion and Indy 500 winner.
It's going to be very exciting here. Kenny Brack's warm-up lap, 2:25.9. He's going to build momentum. He looks very smooth out there. It's going to be fast. And if you look at his rear wing, he probably has his rear wing laid back. The front of the leading edge is higher than the back of the back of the wing. It's -4, -4.5 degrees. It's going to be the lowest of anyone today, and I'm sure it's going to be the fastest as well.
It takes 4 consecutive laps, total concentration, total skill, and an incredible amount of courage to get on this racetrack. The quickest lap overall in qualifying was 2:27.821, and not now. Kenny Brack just turned the fastest qualifying lap of the month. First time by, 2:27.940. Welcome back, Kenny Brack.
He looks very, very smooth out there, and you know, you heard the Ray Hall team say they were going to be a little conservative with the setup. You know, you can see it in the driver's eyes, you can hear it in their voice. And yesterday, when I was listening to him practice, he was joking around, and his eyes were full of expression. He was very, very confident in the car. They know this is a big thing for Kenny to go out there and be fast, and so they're pushing the setup. The car is bottoming out there, 2:27.5 second lap. He's on a very, very good pace here.
Kenny Brack, you saw Ray Lito and some of the Ray Hall Letterman crew up there in the wave-off area. Can't believe they're thinking about anything but getting 4 laps and getting this former series winner and champion in the field. Backstretch here on lap number 3. Now remember, the top 22 qualified on pole day. There is the reigning Indy 500 pole sitter and winner of a year ago, Buddy Rice, who cannot run because of injury. You got to wonder what's going through his mind right now as he watches his race car turn the fastest laps of the month.
Yeah, he's very, very excited, but you know, it's a very, very tough emotion. You know, he wants to be in that car. He's been on pole. He's won the Indianapolis 500, and you know, you have to be a team player, but he wants to be out there very bad.
One Indy 500 winner watching another Indy 500 winner together, trying to put Rahal Letterman in good position to win this race again for the second year in a row. Buddy Rice, right of your screen. Kenny Brack, left of your screen. As we are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Indy time trials, day 3. You're watching the remarkable return of Kenny Brack, who will complete his qualifying run as he comes out of turn 4. Brack, a 4-lap average, 227.9 or 598. He becomes the quickest car in the field, and the celebration is ongoing down there, as rightfully they should. Now, he will still have to start 23rd. The top 22 are locked in, but he is the quickest car in qualifying. As the celebrations are ongoing, there's Buddy Rice. Let's head down to Jamie Little.
And Ray Lito is the engineer for the number 15 car. What was it like watching Kenny Brack back here? I mean, we were talking about it. You can't write a better script than this.
Well, it's good. I'm actually not engineering the car. I'm engineering Danica. I'm just down here helping Tim Ryder, who's engineering today for Buddy and Kenny, and it was great. I mean, it just shows you the depth we have in the team, having 3 champions and being able to put a guy like that in the car and go out and have the fastest time in the month. It's awesome for us. It shows us that we deserve to be up front.
Now, Greg Bray's upstairs, and he's talking about the negative wing. How freed up was this car?
It's pretty free. It's probably not as far as we went with the other 2 last weekend. Being a little conservative today, but the day is a perfect day, and you know, Kenny's a champion here, and he knows how to do it, so we let him go as fast as he could.
Rahal Letterman, a solid team effort here. No matter who you work for, you come together to get your cars in the field. Dr. Punch?
Thank you very much, Jamie. That Ray Lito, the man you just talked to, by the way, he's the one that's helping Danica Patrick get up to speed. Danica turned the quickest laps of the month at 2:29.880. So now listen to this applause as Kenny Brack pulls in. They will try to get him out of the car.
You know, I think something's pretty exciting. If you look at the front row of the qualifiers that are up there right now, Tony Kanaan on pole, Sam Hornish Jr. and Scott Sharp. These guys have all won IndyCar IRL championships. It's very, very competitive there. But they just had the 1998 championship bump them all off as far as speed. It's amazing emotions. I'm very excited for Kenny Brack.
Kenny Brack climbing out of the car. He'll get a huge hug there from the crew. That is Ricardo Nault, who is the chief mechanic. High fives all around. Steve Dixon down there, the team manager. Scott Remke, the chief operating officer for Rahal Letterman.
You know, it's amazing. It's amazing to see him standing there. I went to see him at the hospital the day after his crash back in October. I live in Texas, and he was at a hospital there, and I went to go see him, and you know, spent a long time with him, and you know, of course, they had him on lots of painkillers, and you know, even in that state, he was joking around, and he's gonna have a lot of great jokes tonight. It's a great day for him.
And Buddy Rice comes down to give him a big hug. Let's check down where Vince Welch is standing right near this celebration. Vince?
Well, Kenny Brack still with his helmet on and visiting with Buddy Rice and Tom Blattler, the public relations representative for Rahal Letterman, and they're going over the lap speeds now for Kenny. And when Kenny first rolled in and they said, hey, you're the fastest lap in the field, or the fastest car in the field, and he said, oh yeah, really? Let's step over here and grab Buddy Rice real quick as Kenny's still got his helmet on. What do you think about that run?
No, it's great. You know, it's great for Kenny. It's a great job he's done. He's put the fastest car in the field, and that's what we need to do.
First time since Arie Luyendyk, I guess, in 2002, that the fastest car hasn't been on the pole. Maybe a testament to this Rahal Letterman team that another very good driver can get in another car and be the fastest.
Yeah, well, like I said, Kenny's done this job before. He's won it here before. He knows what it's done, and he's worked with the team. So, you know, it's to come in on short notice to hop in and do this is awesome. It's great for the team. It's going to be a huge boost to everybody.
Is it a little bittersweet for you, though? I know you're frustrated that you're unable to race. Is this a little bittersweet time for you?
You know, obviously I can't drive, but I couldn't be happy with who's in the car. A friend of mine that could come in and do the same job. So there's no hiding that last year that if he would have been in the car, it would have been the same way. So this is great for him to be able to come in and do this.
Thank you. Let's turn now to Kenny Brack. Well, Well, congratulations. We talked before you went out, and you said, oh, no nerves at all. And, boy, that was solid. Well done. Any moments during the course of that run?
I was a little sideways in turn 2 on the 3rd lap. I slowed down a couple of tenths. I was still flat, but it's scrub speed, so had to adjust things a little bit. But no, it was a good run. Thank God that he let me come back here, and I thank Team Rail Letterman, of course, for giving me the opportunity. And while I'm very sorry for Buddy, but you know, he'll come back and he'll do a good job too. So I thank Buddy too for giving me this opportunity, Buddy.
Did you ever anticipate that maybe you would have the fastest qualifying speed in the field, even faster than the pole sitter?
Well, you know, we haven't really worked on qualifying. We're trying to get the race set up under, you know, I obviously came in here 3 days ago, so I couldn't dream of that. I know they've got good cars. I mean, the Honda engine is really strong, and the Panis chassis, and Team Rail Letterman, as they have got a really good car for this track, but for qualifying. But we've been working on race setup all the time, so I didn't know how good the car was in qualifying trim until this morning.
If they're writing the script for this movie, how will it end?
I don't even go there.
Kenny Brack, I can tell you how it would end. It would end with a nice sip of milk for a second time.
Don't even go there.
The star of the show today, Kenny Brack.
We'll get out of the way.
How many more compelling stories can Rahal Letterman have? They've got Danica Patrick, the darling of the month of May, the fastest, best qualifier ever by a female driver, starting 4th. You got Kenny Brack coming back from that near-fatal crash with the fastest qualifying time in the field. And now we put a Foyt in the field. Moments ago, Larry Foyt getting his car in the field with a great run. Foyt becomes the 24th car to qualify. When we come back, more qualifying. Day 3 of Indy time trials from Speedway, Indiana.
You're looking at Larry Foyt, the most recent driver to qualify for the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500 time trials here at Indianapolis. And Larry, you practiced much of the week in the 48 car, but you qualified the 41. How come?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. You know, you never know what my dad's going to do here at Indy. So I think just the 41 we wanted to put in the show for ABC and everybody. So that's what we had.
219.3. Anything left out there, or did you get all you had?
Yeah, not really. I mean, no sense in taking a chance on wrecking a car today. I mean, but we gave it a good effort. That's just all it's got. We've struggled for speed 2 years in a row, and just unfortunately, that's all she had.
But you are back in the field for the Indianapolis 500, at least for the time being. And what does that mean to you?
Well, it's great. You know, this is my childhood dream to be here, and sitting here looking at Kenny Brack. I remember spotting for him when we won here, so it's amazing to be in the race with these guys, and learned a lot last year. No, really hadn't driven an Indy car last year. I feel a lot more comfortable and confident with the race that I have a good chance to finish and have a decent day.
Yeah, what is the goal for this team? I mean, this is not a team that is expected to be a contender to win the race, so what do you realistically hope to get out of it?
Right. Well, I think the team got behind. You know, we didn't have sponsorship for Anthony for the beginning of the year, and now with ABC coming on board, I think it's time to start stepping up the program, and that's what I think this month's for, is just get us both in the race, get us finished. He's in the points, I'm not, so I just want to finish the race and have a good day.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
That's Larry Foyt. Jeff Ward will be out to qualify next as another day of time trials rolls off here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, looking to fill the field of 33 for the 89th running of the Indy 500.
We welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, day 3 of Indy 500 time trials, as we are underway here trying to fill the field. Spots 23 through 33 up for grabs here in qualifying today. The top 22 were established last Sunday with Tony Kanaan on the pole. Latest car to go out, you're looking at Jeff Ward, former Rookie of the Year here in Indianapolis, and Tony George, his car owner, and Vision Racing there talking as Jeff came back in and waved off the attempt. Next in line, another Foyt, A.J. Foyt IV. Getting ready to go out and qualify a fellow Texan, Greg Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, A.J. the fourth is under a lot of pressure. Just watching Larry go out, you know, earlier in the week, his fastest speed was 216. This morning he did 220. He just put 4 strong laps together, 219. Larry's doing a really good job. They're struggling for a little bit of speed over there, but he's done a very, very solid job. And you know, he's only qualified for one other IndyCar race, and that was here. So he's, you know, he's in deep water.
All All right, well, speaking of the Foyt family and the great legacy here, Vince Welch is standing by with the 4-time Indy winner.
Just a very animated conversation between A.J. and Kenny Brack. Kenny, of course, drove for you into that Indy 500 victory in 1999. What was your conversation?
Oh, we just cut up. Kenny and I have been friends, even though, you know, he went with Ray Hall a long time ago to go to kart, and we talk all the time. He's one of my best friends I got in racing.
What's it mean to you to see him be able to come back from near death to qualify here at Indy?
Well, it means everything in the world, you know, and I'm just real proud of him, and I know he's glad. And he's just a terrific race driver. And like I said, I've always, you know, when he went with me, everybody said, I don't know why you got him. Well, after we won the championship and won Indy, they opened their eyes to him.
Yeah. Larry got it in the field, said it was a little bit of a handful, but he got it in there.
That's about the fastest we've been able to run. We've been running some 20s and 19s, and I said, go get it in, because we just don't have the power of the Chevys or the Hondas. So the car's driving pretty good, but he did a terrific job, and what else can you ask for? I mean, flat out for 4 laps. So, you know, there's not much I could do to the car. I could loosen it up more, but then he might be in a wall, so there's no sense in that, because we wasn't talking about maybe another mile or 2 miles an hour at the most. So he did a good job.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
It's A.J. Foyt, still going to try to get Anthony in the field, and let's go to Jamie Little.
And I'm joined now by Tony George, the owner of Vision Racing, number 20 and 22 cars. We just saw Jeff Ward wave off. What are the problems you guys are experiencing?
Well, I don't know that there are problems. We were planning to go out and take a time with both cars first time out, and Jeff got out there, and just on that first lap, just coming down into one, he just thought it was too loose, felt it was too loose, and so there's no need for him to be uncomfortable at this point, so we've got plenty of time today to try and sort it out.
Tony, you're in this new role now as a team owner. What has that been like for you?
It's been fun. It's been different for sure, but it's a little anxious right now as this whole week we've been hovering around the bottom of the speed chart. So, you know, it's a bit anxious right now, but, you know, I think we'll be in the show hopefully, and if not, we'll be back next year to try again.
Would you do it all over again? Would you recommend being a team owner?
Well, I don't know about that. I recommend it to who?
Yourself again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm having fun right now and enjoying it and learning a little bit. So I would do it again. I'd probably have some more conversation, though, with other people before I make the decision.
All right, Tony, thank you for your time. Best of luck getting both cars in the field today.
Well, Tony George, the president and CEO of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and of course the chief executive officer of the Indy Racing League. And a lot of people, there were some who were critical of his decision to become an owner. Others who said, you know, some of the owners said, you know what, we think it's great because what he's doing is he's investing in his vision that when he began the IRL 10 years ago, he's investing his own money now in a race team, and so he'll understand even more about what we have to deal with as far as paying the bills. You were an owner last year. You understand first rate what it costs to race.
Yeah, you know, and I don't really want to comment on Tony being an owner or not. That's kind of like a political hotbed for me. You know, you cast no stones when you're in a glass house. But the thing about Tony George is he's a very confident individual, and he's one of the most powerful men in motorsports. But to see him walk around and watch Ed Carpenter, his stepson, and Jeff Ward, you know, qualify or not qualify or struggle, he's showing a lot of nerves and a lot of emotions. So he looks very calm, cool, and collected. But he's really going crazy, and it's a very stressful situation. And you can't get that. You can't get that unless you experience it. And he's getting it firsthand and a big load of it.
He's understanding that both he and Laura, his wife, talked about what they were going to do, and they made the announcement during the test at Phoenix this year they were going to begin Vision Racing, and they didn't have a lot of time to get up and running. They brought Larry Curry in, and they've been sort of behind in trying to get cars prepared and get up to speed. Although, whoa, smoke out of the back of the Foyt machine. This is Anthony Foyt, A.J. Foyt IV, and a lot of smoke. And you heard A.J. a moment ago that a little bit concerned about the engine package and based on where they were horsepower-wise compared to the Hondas and maybe the Chevys. But that one is not a good sign.
Yeah, you know, A.J. is a true living legend. He knows this place like nobody else. But the competitive field, the teams, the drivers, the engineers, the resources, it's just very, very stiff competition. And, you know, he's definitely feeling a lot of frustration. And I think you can see it there. You know, all the motor manufacturers, Honda, Chevrolet, Toyota, you really don't see this very much anymore. They're very, very dependable, and you know, they were pushing it and got a little lean and probably blew it up.
Well, we see very, very few engine failures in the league anymore. And as you said, they're very reliable, Honda, Toyota, and Chevrolet. But this one, we're seeing smoke. Now, we're not saying it's an engine failure, but it looks a lot of smoke is coming from somewhere in the back of the car. You see Larry Foyt there walking over. And by the way, A.J. or Anthony was at 220.1 in practice this morning in the 16-lap practice session he took. So he had plenty of speed there to get in the car as he climbs out. The 20-year-old A.J. Foyt IV, who will be 21 as we approach race day here next week. Day 3 of Indy time trials continues. We have 4 cars that have qualified today, spots 20, 33, 4, 5, and 6. So that's in the field as we continue with more qualifying here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Day number 3 of Indy time trial. We are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we try to set the field for the 89th running of the Indy 500. And take a look at the cars that have qualified thus far today. Top 22 were set on pole day. We start at 23 today. Kenny Brack, quickest lap in the field overall for anyone. Kenny Brack in the Rahal Letterman Argent Pioneer machine. Ryan Briscoe, the rookie. Marty Roth and Larry Foyt. As we head down trackside, and Jamie Little is caught up with Anthony Foyt.
Well, it was a short-lived run. I know all the anticipation building up for qualifying. Anthony, what happened out there?
Just going in turn 3, I felt let go, and just lucky that no oil got on the back car and broke it loose and crashed it. So guys been working really hard and got ABC on there. So we'll get the engine changed. We'll get the car out there later and put it in the field.
Hey, this reminds me of last year. Remember this? A little bit of drama building up. You had issues in the housing last year.
Last 2 years I've been here, I've had drama. The first year I was going backwards, and then second year, like you said, and then this year blew up. So, but it always ended good both years, so it ended good this year also.
So it's normal protocol, and we'll see you out later.
I'm used to it.
All right, Anthony Foyt IV. We'll see him out here later in the show. Dr. Punch.
And thank you, Jamie. I might mention that ABC, by the way, is ABC Supply, American Builders and Contractor Supply Company out of Beloit, Wisconsin. They signed on a long-term deal. Ken Hendrickson Company, who's basically a self-made man in the roofing business, decided to hitch up with another self-made man. That one right there, the legendary Supertex himself, A.J. Foyt. So that's what ABC is. It is not the network. It is the Builders and Contractor Supply Company out of Wisconsin. And we'll show you some of the practice speeds this morning. They had a 1-hour practice session of drivers yet to qualify. There is Ed Carpenter, Jacques Lazier, who went out a moment ago and waved it off. Anthony Foyt, who you just heard Jamie Little speak with. Jimmy Kite subbing for Paul Dana. Kite coming to qualify for his 5th Indianapolis 500. Jeff Ward, the former Rookie of the Year, and the first time ever attempting an IndyCar Series competition. He's a veteran of the Menards Infiniti Pro Series. Second-generation driver Ari Leindyke Jr. His story and more when we come back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is day 3 of Indy time trials. The big story, Kenny Brack is back, and he's the fastest in the field. We welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. At the RL IndyCar Series season finale in October of 2003, Kenny Brack suffered critical injuries in a horrific accident, the result of Kenny touching wheels with Thomas Schechter. Here's our Vince Welch.
Amazingly, Kenny was able to survive the 207G impact, but he came away with many injuries, among them fractures to both ankles, a fractured right femur, as well as a fractured sternum and L3 vertebrae. He spent last year rehabbing, undertaking an intensive physical therapy program. While he was still in the hospital recovering, wife Anita gave birth to the couple's first child, a daughter named Karma. Kenny's misfortune presented an opportunity to the unknown and unproven Buddy Rice. Rice got into Kenny's ride with Rahal Letterman and promptly went on to win the Indy 500. How ironic was it that when Buddy crashed last week during practice and was unable to get medical clearance to compete, the team asked Brack to replace him.
Having Buddy replace me and then be coming back to replace him, it's yeah, it's a little strange.
I couldn't be happier to actually see him be able to come back here and hop on a competitive car. Granted, he's not going to start where he wants to, but I don't think it'll take him very long to get up to speed, and he'll be in a car that'll give him another shot at trying to win the Indy 500 again. I
feel sorry for Buddy. Of course, I kind of know how he feels like about this, but luckily he's not going to be out for very long, and I'm going to try to do a good job for him in this situation and for the team.
Indy, 500 miles long, is the longest distance race on the schedule. Brack hasn't competed in an IndyCar Series race since his Texas crash nearly a year and a half ago. Is the 39-year-old Swede physically capable of going the distance?
I have been basically pounding myself in the gym ever since I got out of the hospital. So I feel physically very good.
Kenny's all business, always has been, and I think always will be. And if he wasn't ready for this, he wouldn't be here. Yeah, I think we're pretty confident that he'll be there on race day.
And finally, what does Brack think about his chances this year of becoming a two-time 500 winner?
Buddy here said he was going to help me, you know, so tell me how he did it last year. I feel that there's a lot of things here that are really, really good, and that's the way it happened, and so here I am.
One thing that Buddy won't be able to help Kenny with, how to drive with a screw sticking out of your foot. Every time Brack puts the pedal to the metal, the screw, which holds a metal plate in place in his ankle, rubs against the side of his driving boot, as well as the inside of the cockpit.
There is Kenny Brack now today. We fast forward some 19 months from that horrific accident, climbing out. Ricardo Nault giving him a huge hug. There's all the Rahal Letterman guys, the engineers. Chief Operating Officer there, Scott Rimke, etc., coming in. So happy that Kenny has been able to battle his way back from those horrifying injuries. Take a look at the qualifying today, the grid thus far as they sit. Last week on pole day, Tony Kanaan, 227.566, reigning series champion on the pole for the first time in Indy. Two-time series champion Sam Hornish, the Marlboro team Penske machine in the middle of row one, and the very first IndyCar Series co-champion Scott Sharp in the Fernandez racing efforts for Delphi outside of row one. Phenomenal Danica Patrick, the rookie, fastest woman to qualify, highest qualifying woman in Indy 500 history. Elio Castroneves and Dario Franchitti in row two. Back in row three, Vitor Meira, fastest lap of the race a year ago. Last year's Bombardier Rookie of the Year, Kosuke Matsura, and Buddy Lazier, the 1996 winner. Back in row three, Thomas Inge, the impressive rookie from Czechoslovakia. Tomáš Scheckter, who led so many laps in his first two trips to Indianapolis for the 500. And Bruno Junqueira, the former pole sitter here in 2002. Row five, the 2003 IndyCar Series champion Scott Dixon. Adrian Fernandez making his first start here in 2005, and reigning Champ Car Series champion Sebastian Bourdais. Row six, Dan Weldon, the points leader right now, Roger Yasukawa, and Brian Herda, a two-time pole sitter this year. Row seven, Darren Manning, Richie Hearn, and rookie Jeff Bucknam. Back in row eight, take a look at our starters. There's a look at Alex Barron, Kenny Brack, fastest qualifier in the field overall, and rookie Ryan Briscoe. And in row nine, Marty Roth and Larry Foyt finishing out those that have qualified thus far here, as qualifying will continue. We will come back with you with more live qualifying coverage from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. ESPN coverage at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, ESPN2 at 6 Eastern Time. For Jamie Little, Vince Welch, Greg Ray, and our entire ESPN2 crew, we congratulate Kenny Brack. He is the fastest car in the field. Welcome back to IndyCar, Kenny Brack. So long, everyone, from Indianapolis.